Good evening, my name is Jennifer Moore, and this evening I'm going to be dissecting this awesome sheep brain. It is November 13th, Friday the 13th, so what a better day to go ahead and dissect a sheep brain. So I'm going to start out, we have the large rounded area, which is going to be the cerebrum, and then you have the smaller circular area, that's the cerebellum. You have the brainstem, which is the long area here. And then you have the cerebral cortex, where you have the dark areas that they are called the sulci. Then you have the lighter areas that are usually raised. They call them the gyri. And you have the lobes of the sheep brain, and it is the frontal lobe. And then you have the parietal lobe, which is the top of the brain. And then you have the occipital lobe and the side lobes, which always gets me. I'm going to have to look at this one. The temporal lobes, which let me see if I can get a better way to look at it, is going to be right in this area. So then we have this line here, which is called the longitudinal fissure. I have already made a mid-sagittal cut because I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing when I started this video or when I was performing this dissection. So we're going to look at the ventral side of the brain, which would be the underneath side. And you have the olfactory bulbs here, and then you have where it makes, actually I think I'm wrong, the olfactory bulbs are going to be in this area because right here you have the, I believe it's the corpus callosum. I need to just make sure. Where is it? I had it written down just because there are a few words that, the optic chiasm, sorry. There's a few words that I have for, it just can't register in my brain. So that is the one that makes the X shape here. And then you have the pons area here, then the medulla oblongata, and then the brain stem here. So if we take this back around where we can see the whole brain, like I said, I've made a mid-sagittal cut already, so I'm going to take it apart. So there's one side that's better than the other. I have to remember which one it was. So you have in this here, you have the upside down Nike check, which is going to be the corpus callosum. And then underneath that, you have the lateral ventricle. And then you come down right here, and this is going to be the third ventricle, followed by the fourth ventricle underneath the cerebellum here. Then you have the thalamus, which is in this area. And then you have the hypothalamus, which is right underneath, which is what hypo is for, which is under. And then you're going to have your pons area, and then you have your medulla oblongata, followed by the brain stem. So I just need to look and see what I have missed. The corpus callosum, we already went over that. It's that Nike check sign there. And I think that Oh, so I need to do the coronal cut, which is going to be the cut that separates the front to the back, so we can look at the hippocampus. So I am going to make a coronal cut, which is, we have the half of the brain. We're going to make a coronal cut that's going to separate the front from the back. I did forget to mention that when you have the full sheep brain, you have the hemispheres, you have the right and the left hemispheres of the brain, which is separated by that longitudinal fissure there. So I am going to cut my coronal cut, like I said, which is going to be about right in there. I'll go ahead and do that. Sorry that it's really hard to show on my camera. So when you cut it from front to back, I know that it says the hippocampus is going to be the seahorse type, which it looks like it's going to be in, it's kind of hard to see on my screen. This is where it's going to be, in this area here. And it makes like a seahorse shape, which is what it is an example of. And then I forgot to mention, which was really cool, I thought, is on the cerebellum. My camera's terrible. In the cerebellum, there's a tree-like structure that it looks like a tree. I wish you could see it better on my screen. Anyways, this is where the white and the gray matter are. And they say that the white matter, it's really hard to see on this brain or differentiate between the white and the gray matter, but this is the cerebellum, and the area where it is the tree-like structures in here. I hope I have named them all. I think that's it. Just want to look over my list here. I believe that's it. I hope I didn't miss anything, but if so, I apologize. I've worked really hard to try to memorize where all these things are. Like I said, the side lobes are the ones that I just can't stick in my brain. So anyways, thank you and have a good evening.